Hello and welcome back to another video. If you can tell that I'm a little bit buzzing, it's because the Fantasy Premier League 2021 season has just been dropped. We can make our teams, we can finally see player prices after being teased the player prices yesterday. I didn't actually think that they were going to drop the game today, but they've dropped it. If you're new around here, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Like if you're looking forward to the new FPL season. Without further ado, let's take a first look at these new FPL players. I'm buzzing. Are you buzzing? Let's get straight into it. Okay, so here we are back at the team selection page. I'm buzzing to see this. This is genuinely my first reaction to all of this. I haven't gone in before and had a little sneak peek. I know a couple of the player prices, like the likes of De Bruyne, Salah, because they were released yesterday, but all of these other guys, like, Henderson we're seeing at 5.5, Schmeichel, Patricio, De Gea, all at 5.5. No 6 mil goalkeepers, and neither of the Manchester City or Liverpool. No, Alisson's not in there either. That's very interesting. I guess he didn't have that great of a season last year. They kept a lot of clean sheets, but Trent at 7.5 mil, that's an interesting one. I feel like that's very deserved. A lot of people were potentially putting him to go at the sort of maybe 8, 9, even up to 9 mil. 7.5 kind of for me means he's a must in that team. Having got some of the midfield options, as I said, Kevin De Bruyne, the highest valued player last season, 11.5 mil. The highest scoring player last season, 11.5 mil, probably still a must. Aubameyang's now a midfielder. I guess he does play a lot on that left wing, but he's also a striker. So the fact that Aubameyang is now a midfielder, for me, means he's going to get as many points as, Salah or Mane, because he gets plenty. That's an interesting one. I like that one. I do like that one. And then we go a little bit further down, the likes of Rashford, now a midfielder as well. Son at 9 mil. Son's always going to be staying around that kind of 9 mil mark. Grealish, whether he'll stay at Aston Villa or not, we don't really know. But around 7 mil, I think it's fair enough for him with the season he had last year. Lundstrom, 5.5 mil, actually is not bad pricing from them. I thought they may even go a little bit higher, but because he's not a defender, obviously he's going to get a lot fewer points this year. Mount at 7 mil, still for me, it's probably a bit of a no. Let's take a quick peek at some of the strikers, and then I'll move into going sort of team by team, probably look at the top 6 teams and see what players they have to offer. And first thing to recognise here is the most expensive attacker is 10.5 mil. 10.5 mil for an attacker. The most expensive attacker has not been done before. That means you've got incredible value. The likes of Aguero, Kane. Vardy at 10's iffy. Timo Werner coming in, I'll be very intrigued to see how he does. Martial at 9 mil, I think it's deserved, but whether he will do as well as the likes of, Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, for not too dissimilar amount of price. I'm not sure. Lacazette, way too expensive for me when you've got Danny Ings and Jimenez at the same price. I'd probably go for Jimenez over Danny Ings here. 8.5 mil. Richarlison now as a striker as well. I think that completely devalues Richarlison. Abraham, Giroud at 7 mil. Calvert-Lewin, he's an alright option. And you've got the other cheaper options, the likes of Chris Wood down there at 6.5 mil. Right, so now we're just going to take a quick look at the team. So if I scroll down, if I do this, it's just, you're going to see that thing on the left-hand side, but at least you can still see the players on the right. So Arsenal, what we're looking at here, Leno Martinez. Martinez obviously being a very good goalkeeper for Arsenal. Whether he'll still keep that first spot, we don't really know. A lot of their defensive options, for me, Arsenal are not that solid at the back. So 5 mil for their, cheaper defenders, as it were. With the likes of Chris Holding coming in there, Maitland-Niles being 5 mil, Kolasinac, Bellerin, just all a little bit expensive. Tierney's probably the only one you probably would go for because he's got a lot of attacking potential. Then we scroll down a little bit. I really actually do like this Arsenal team now because you've got Aubameyang, who's a midfielder at 12 mil. That's a very nice price. Pepe at 8 mil. I think him being 9 mil last year, a little bit too expensive, or even 9.5 when I came in. 8 mil is a good price to try and fit him in as even like a bit of a differential. I feel like you can definitely put him in for 8 mil. And then we're going for the forwards. Lacazette and Nketiah at 6 mil now. I don't particularly like that because, you don't really know whether he's going to play. I wouldn't really have him in there as a differential forward. But I think Aubameyang and Pepe, very good options here, along with the likes of Kieran Tierney. Moving on to what you could say is probably the next biggest side alphabetically wise anyway. We've got the likes of Chelsea, now Caballero and Arrizabalaga, both coming in at 5 mil is very interesting. Probably Caballero's got that little boost because he's now considered as the #1 goalkeeper. Frank Lampard isn't really liking Kepa, and so Caballero's probably got the same price, which is fair enough. Which, could make him a bit of an option considering, Chelsea, it's hard to say about their defence, but they have a very, very expensive defence. Not a single player below 5 mil. If Alonso gets that starting position, for me, he's a must-have player. He gets plenty of attacking contributions, and is just a great player all round. If you scroll down a little bit, you've got Christian Pulisic. We don't know whether he'll start the season, but if he starts, he'll be their main man in the midfield. Ziyech at 8 million, actually, that's very cheap. I feel like I could see myself taking a punt on Ziyech because I think he's an incredible player and could do incredible things at Chelsea. Timo Werner is just an absolute machine. Having watched the Bundesliga before the Premier League returned, Werner he's banging in the goals. He's so clinical. You could call him the tapping merchant, but in FPL, goals are goals, points are points. So Timo Werner definitely one to consider. But also another one, you want to see break into the Chelsea squad, especially considering the likes of Abraham and Giroud. Frank Lampard is really liking Giroud towards the end of the season. So whether he'll start with a bit of familiarity in that attack, we don't really know. Then if we go down, I'm trying to see, and we'll give Leicester a bit of respect, as it were. Schmeichel at 5.5 mil, very well deserved. All the defenders currently injured, whether they'll come back, I don't know. Pereira, of course, was a brilliant addition. James Justin at 4.5 mil. I feel like if Pereira is still out, let's have a look here actually. Do we get any more? Expected back on the 1st of October, which means he's expected back after the season starts. I think James Justin or even Thomas, considering Chilwell. Is Chilwell expected for injury? Unknown return date. So yeah, James Justin could be a really good option there. Maddison at 7 mil, sort of similar as last season. Barnes are similar as well. I mean, if Maddison can have a similar start as he did last season, Maddison could be an incredible option. He was kind of injured towards the end of last season, so whether we'll see a bit of rejuvenation in form. Jamie Vardy at 10 mil, obviously he got the golden boot, and it's deserved that he got that price increase. For me, that's still just a bit too much for a player. But at the same time, if you see Jamie Vardy's on that streak, you've got to get him in because he will just get points and points and points. Scroll down a little bit more. Let's go to the Liverpool boys. Show the champions a bit of respect. Alisson is actually a 6 mil goalkeeper. I didn't see that. It's probably because it was on points before, not price. Alisson is one of the most expensive goalkeepers at 6 mil. Probably deserved. We've got the likes of Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Van Dijk. These prices all very, very much expected. Scroll down, Mane, Salah at 12 mil. They probably both deserve to be 12 mil. However, Mane being the same price as Salah, for me, it just kind of discounts him a bit more. It was a bit more of a differential last season. He had been that 1 mil cheaper. But Salah, you can just predict when he's going to do things. Whereas Mane, he's consistently good, but not all over. For me, no, 9.5 mil. I mean, whether he actually deserves that, I don't know. More just because he's a part of the Liverpool side and could go and bang at any point. It's probably why he's that expensive. But he had a 17-game goal drought. Let's go to Manchester City now. Edison, 6 mil, as I said before. His price gone up. Walker, Mendy, Laporte, all at 6 mil. Fernandinho now considered as a defender. Rightfully so, because he has basically been playing centre-back. Makes him more of an option for sure. I mean, all of their defensive options are very expensive. Even Garcia, who doesn't even want to play at Manchester City next season, is 5 mil. So, Nathan Ake, if he comes straight into that side, I think will be guaranteed for me into the team. However, it's so hard with this team. Do you know who's going to start? Do you know who's going to play? I'm probably just going to get De Bruyne, maybe Sterling into this team. Let's see how much the attackers are. Jesus and Aguero, only a mil apart now, so surely you're going for Aguero. You've got the new guy Torres at 7 mil. That's not badly priced. But yeah, De Bruyne, Sterling, probably the main guys. Laporte will actually probably end up playing every single game because he is their main man at the back. But yeah, let's move on to the next team. And the next team, of course, Manchester United, the next big side in there. After I look at these big teams, we'll have a quick look at the relegation scrapping teams, and then I'll make another video on the kind of differential teams, as it were. De Gea, Henderson obviously now back at Manchester United. Good to see him there. Whether he'll actually stay there, we don't know. Whether he'll get the first position, we don't know either. If he does, could be a very good option. We saw the Man United defensive options become a lot more playable towards the end of the last season. I think they'll be very playable this season as well. The likes of Harry Maguire, Wan-Bissaka at 5.5 mil. Scroll down a little bit and we've got the likes of Luke Shaw, very nice. Fernandes at 10.5, as we said. Rashford at 9.5. Pogba, not bad. Greenwood at 7.5, very interesting. If they bring someone in who kind of challenges for that Greenwood spot, I'd say he's less of an option. However, Greenwood banging in the goals when he was starting. For 7.5 mil, I don't actually mind that too much, although I think there probably are other players in that price bracket who look particularly good. Martial, as we said, 9 mil, probably a little bit expensive. I'm really liking what they've done this year with kind of pricing. The midfielders, there's actually a lot more options in that kind of 8 mil sort of area that really make me like, I'm racking my brains thinking, what should I do? Obviously, after a couple of games, it'll probably become a lot clearer. But right now, that potential of what you could have, the team you can create, is really, I'm looking forward to it. Any other big teams? Spurs, and then we'll give Wolves a bit of love at the end as well. Lorry at 5.5. I don't particularly like Spurs' defence in general. They're not the most solid side, and they don't really have the best of attacking contributions. Aurier is probably the one you'd go for normally. However, 5.5 mil, just a bit expensive considering the other players. Considering the other players that you can get in there as well. Son obviously at 9 mil, that's nice. Ali 8, Bergwijn same, all sort of similar prices. Kane at 10.5 is definitely one to consider. He's always been around that kind of 12 mil mark. Extremely expensive player to get in. I like what they're doing now with their strikers. They're making strikers a lot more affordable. So you just kind of have to rack your brains a little bit more to think, who am I going to bring in? We'll give Wolves a little bit of love and give Wolves a little bit of love. Patricio 5.5 will very much deserved. Doherty 6 deserved, yes and no. He has had some very good attacking contributions this season, so I would say over other players he definitely deserves that sort of price. He deserves to maintain his price is what I'll say. Size at 5 mil, that's deserved. Vinagre could definitely be an option. All of these sort of Johnny, Cody, Wolves defenders are becoming very expensive now. Traore 6.5 mil. So in the midfield isn't actually too expensive, but because you don't know who's going to play, it's very hard to get them in. Jota is now a midfielder, could be a very good, very good option there. And obviously Jimenez at 8.5 mil, Mr. Consistent, always bagging the goals. But yeah, this has been a quick Premier League FPL first look. Today we're just looking at the sort of kind of top 6 sides. I know I said I'd do the relegation, but I'll make a separate video for the relegation, show the new boys a bit of love, and then we'll also look outside of the top 6. I hope you guys are buzzing for the FPL as well. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment if you enjoy, and subscribe, and I'll catch you soon.